Hey everyone, happy Dia de los Muertes. I think I said that right. I'm uh I'm by Los Angeles, so there's a big uh event usually around now where you can go to Alvera Street and they'll have dancers. There's usually movies playing in a cemetery and all sorts of fun activities going on this weekend. Anyway, I wanted to come on and talk about the divine feminine. What is the divine feminine? What does that mean? And why? Why am I bringing it up now? I have some personal experiences that I'm going to share and also a drawing. But for now, I did want to talk about what is the divine feminine. It is it's an energy. So I know people have been talking about the divine feminine coming in right now. Um, but I don't think that they, always explain exactly what it is. So it's an energy that's associated with life-giving, creative, and intuitive forces. It's often symbolized by goddesses in various cultures. It's a balancing force. The concept suggests a need for balance between the divine feminine and divine masculine energies within individuals and society as a whole. And I think that we can kind of see that right now, especially, there's sort of a, a masculine energy that's sort of looking a little bit, I don't know, it's a little off balance. And because this divine feminine energy is coming in right now, I almost want to say that some of what we're seeing playing out is almost looking a little toxic even. Um, and I think that that needs to play out and become very obvious so that we can appreciate and acknowledge this other balancing energy that is coming in. Um, it's also the energy is linked to intuitive and receptive aspects of the human spirit, such as gut feelings, wisdom, and magic. Yes, please to all of that. And connected to nature, it is often associated with the physical self, embodiment, and connection to Mother Earth. So there are some misconceptions about the divine feminine. For example, people may feel like it excludes men or is about women's power, but the divine feminine is an energy or a force, not a reference to biological sex or gender, and both men and women possess this energy. In psychology, described by Carl Jung as an archetype, a universal pattern of the psyche that represents the inner healer and intuitive guide. So in mythology and religion, the divine feminine can be found in many ancient traditions, such as goddess figures of Isis in Egypt, Venus in Rome, Aphrodite in Greece, and female deities in Hinduism. Taoism refers to the energy as yin. And if you look at the yin yang, there's both the masculine and feminine sides, as you can't have one without the other. So I'm bringing this up now because I did have an experience recently. And if any of you have studied much about the Great White Brotherhood, which I think was the term coined by I'm going to say it wrong, Theosophical Society. It's a list of ascended masters. The white color is a spiritual concept referring to an advanced spiritual state. So the color of the energy is white. It is not about a race, but there's no mistaking that the word brotherhood implies males, even though there are female ascended masters in the list. An ascended master is a being who has achieved spiritual enlightenment and has mastered all lessons of their earthly lives, transcending the need for reincarnation. The list of ascended masters includes, depending on your source, either the four Kumaras. In Hinduism, they're the four rishis, they're considered brothers. And if you look at the Theosophical Society, various sources, they have up to seven, which they call flames. But the Kumaras are the original. So Sanat Kumara is usually listed kind of at the top, but he has brothers. One of his brothers, Sananda Kumara, incarnated as everyone may know, Jesus. And then there are other ascended masters such as Buddha, Katumi, Saint Germain, and many more. The list of female ascended masters includes the Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Quan Yin, Isis, Queen Tara, Lady Nada, and then the list also continues for the females. So I am bringing up the Great White Brotherhood, because I recently have seen a female ascended master who has been mentioned before, as Lady Nada. But when she came forward at one of my appointments with Michael Shaman, he picked up the name Jana. And I drew her, so I'm going to share my screen now. I drew what I saw was, this female. She looks, not quite human, kind of Palladian. I believe she is Venusian from, I don't know, if you look up, you could do your own research about it. But so she is called Lady Nada on another website, which this is the rendering they did on a website about her. She is believed to be the twin flame of Sanat Kumara. And look, I thought it was ironic that the coloring around her is this orange and pink. And when I saw her, I saw an orange aura and pink sacred geometry around her. Now, this is what she looked like. I didn't see her actually wearing a necklace, but I wanted to put the name that we got for her around her neck. So I added like a little gold necklace. And also, I have framed the painting I did. This is on paper. It's, I believe it's watercolor, probably acrylic, and some colored pencils and things on cold press Arches watercolor paper. So I put it in a frame, and she's hanging actually right behind me, right? Oops, there. So she's come forward, and at my appointment, it was really interesting because Michael said that other ascended masters were sort of like bowing down and showing her and highlighting her. Like, she's not a newly minted ascended master, but she is probably not been acknowledged much. And now she's coming forward. And I've had multiple moments with her since my appointment so that I could draw her. I saw her a few times, and her energy is really wonderful to be around. And I'm very honored, actually, that a twin flame, if you don't know what that means, it means when one ray of light splits into two and makes two incarnations. And so her being the twin flame of Sanat Kumara makes her very high level. So, it's wonderful. But then, since then, I also had a night where the Mother Mary was in around me, and she came a couple of times. I saw her with the blue robe, and her energy was this glowing blue color, and it was gorgeous. But the second time that I saw her, she was pulsing blue and green energy at me, which, felt amazing, of course. And so, I'm not Catholic, and I understand Catholics do praise and worship the Virgin Mary. Um, but she is an ascended master. So, it's really wonderful to have the support of these two female ascended masters. And so Michael Shaman, I told him, and he said he does an invocation before all of his appointments with clients where he calls on the Great White Brotherhood and the ascended masters, but he has changed his wording now to say also the Great White Sisterhood. I don't know if we need to, maybe think of a new title. And I was thinking about this, how he got the name Jana, but she's also Lady Nada. That maybe she has a less formal name, that she goes by as well, and that it would be silly to think that Saint Germain only is called Saint Germain. He probably also has a more less informal name, um, that his buddies call him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't go around with my whole name like Ms. Danielle Oberosler, you know what I mean? So, yeah. And also, I think that I've met a lot of beings that don't even have names, and they say things like, you can call me, and you can kind of basically make up names for beings as well. So I'm on the fence about it, but Lady Nada does sound kind of formal, and on this planet in Spanish, nada means nothing. So, I didn't want to paint that on my painting. So, anyways, I hope you enjoy some of that information. I find I'm excited. I'm excited about this feminine energy coming in and acknowledging these ascended masters now more in my life, because I do feel that the imbalance that has been the age of Pisces, and now we're shifting into the age of Aquarius, although astronomers apparently can't agree on the date when that starts actually. But I do think that we can feel this shift and sort of acceleration in ascension symptoms, ascension in general. And I do think that having that age of Aquarius and that feminine energies, kind of like being more balanced for all of us and culturally, is going to be a huge shift, because we've had a very egocentric, masculine sort of for the last couple thousand years, and it would be really nice if we can get back to something more balanced, more where creativity, what was I going to say, intuitive gut feelings like magic and all these things are more valued. And I think also being more connected and thinking less of the individual and more of the we mentality is something that we need to foster and bring in with into our lives, into our culture. And I personally can't wait for it. Aside from that, I've been saying I'm having an app worked on by a new friend, and I've got like kind of a working model right now, so I can kind of view it on my phone, even though it's not live for everybody else. And it's really cool. I designed this as the back of the Oracle deck. And so you push shuffle. I don't think he's got all the artwork in yet. And then you can draw a card, and you can either tap the screen. Oh, how ironic. Keepers of the Flame, this card. So for now, if you push up, it doesn't have the book that I wrote, like the pages that go with the card. underneath, and that's what he's working on now. But Keepers of the Flame, how, what synchronicity this is, right? It's a coincidence. I was talking about the Great White Brotherhood, and this card actually is information about the Kumaras and the history of the the 144,000 light workers that came to help with the ascension of humans. The threefold flame. This is about, honestly, hold on, I'm going to pause. Okay, so I pulled up what I wrote for this particular card just as a little, we'll call it a sample of what I've been working on. So, Keepers of the Flame, our love uplifts us as we connect with one another heart to heart, a quote from Harold W. Becker. The Ascended Masters of the Ancient Wisdom and Theosophy, originally called the Order of the Seven Rays, and more recently, the Great White Brotherhood, are said to be supernatural beings of great power who spread spiritual teachings through selected humans. The term Great White Brotherhood is used to refer to an enlightened community of adepts on Earth or in the hereafter with benevolent aims towards the spiritual development of the human race. The members of the Brotherhood may be known as the Masters of the Ancient Wisdom, the Ascended Masters, the Church Invisible, or simply as the Hierarchy. The term white refers to the light in the Ascended Master teachings, white being the blend of all colors and represents their advanced spiritual purity. The Ascended Masters have gone through the initiation of ascension and have changed from inhabiting a physical earth body to an ascended body. The ascension is not something that can be attained in one lifetime, but can be achieved in many lifetimes of dedication. But they came with teachings of enlightenment to know divine nature. They had the evolutionary path for human perfection and teachings to share about the force of the base at the base of the human spine that completes the spiritual evolution of a human being by opening the chakras called Kundalini or serpent power. When awakened, it gives superhuman abilities for one to fully connect with God or source through the crown chakra. So the card, though, goes into the threefold flame, which says is literally a spark of sacred fire from God's own heart. Let's see. This card is about knowledge so that you understand these different ancient secret societies, the keepers of spiritual secrets and the source of the knowledge about the ascension process. And it talks about doing a threefold flame meditation. So to feel your heart's threefold flame grow and light up the thread connecting your heart to the rest of humanity, to keep the flame in your heart glowing bright as the rest of the world also begins to feel the thread connecting them in their hearts, and to visualize the connection between all of humanity light up. The card also comes with a mantra. My heart is connected to every heart on earth, creating a web of heart energy. So I think that card is actually a really big, powerful one in the deck. And I have done 43 different cards. They're not all lessons. Some of them are actually a lot of work, but this one comes with one suggestion to do this meditation about the threefold flame in your heart. And I think that's beautiful. And in fact, I think I will end today's recording on that, because today is 11/1. It's a portal day. And then we've got 11/11 coming later this month. And these are really good days to do some of these meditations. I'm excited to have the app completed, hopefully any day now. and then available on app stores soon. So I will share on the channel when that's done. And I will also come on and record more of my interesting, experiences. These are my personal experiences. I had a lot of experiences this week. And in fact, a couple of nights with the Majestic 12 in my room, they're basically, welcoming me to a certain level that I just reached, which I'm really proud of. But I have seen the tunnel, which is the exit from the Earth Matrix, and I happen to know, and I'm reading a book now called The Keys of Enoch, and it's resonating so hard for me, that I have definitely completed, my reincarnation cycle on Earth. So yeah, I'm getting all these visits from all these ascended masters and very high vibrational beings right now, and they're just welcoming me with their energy, and it's been such a interesting week. Anyway, I'm going to leave it with that for now, and I'll share more spirit guide art as I have it, and any more updates about my personal experiences soon, and my app. All right, everyone. Thanks for coming and to my channel. Be sure to subscribe, to like, to comment, share my channel with those that you feel could, benefit from hearing these experiences, and I'd love to hear from anyone about theirs. All right, thanks a lot. Have a beautiful weekend, everybody.